let's get into this. So, no kidding. There I was watching some old Steven Crowder, and it was talking about what was it about? It was with a black gentleman anyway, and they were talking about privilege. They were talking about white privilege and it being a myth. So the black dude was talking, and he said to Steven, I come from a privileged household because I have both my parents. And I thought to myself, you know what? Wrong, sucker. Having two parents isn't a privilege. It's better than not, and definitely in a better place to be. But that's the standard.
Should be the standard.
Yeah, privilege is something like that, an unearned. Well, I guess it is an unearned to have two parents, but it doesn't. It seems to. We're starting in a bad place when we put what the standard is as some type of exalted place that it's hard to reach. When that's shouldn't be hard to reach at all. It should be right there with it. But it got me thinking, because I don't know if you're familiar with this. Most convicts, most people in prison, like it was like in the 80% come from fatherless homes. I'm sure that wouldn't surprise you greatly.
100% of my statistics are made up.
Oh, outstanding. Well, I was going to quote you some Mark Twain. You know what? Screw it. I'm going to give you some damn Samuel Clemens. Lies, damn lies, and freaking statistics, man. Emphasis of my own.
Sip on this coffee.
No, you okay? Nothing to add?
No.
I don't bring you on.
No, I know.
I really don't bring you on for your good looks. We're supposed to bounce off each other, you son of a bitch.
You go too fast for me, Greg.
I gave it a coffee. I'm trying to pep you up.
I mean, I don't know what the statistics are. That's why I say 100% of my stats are made up. I haven't fact-checked any of it. But I would say...
it's not a surprise, though, right?
This is where you're good. Fact-check me. The vast majority of... especially, inmates.
Yeah, so you do want to run for office. I told you we need to run for office. You got the move. You got the hand move.
Yeah, could probably come from single family homes where the dad's not there.
Yeah.
And if you're talking about numbers of 80%, like that is, I don't know at what level a statistical anomaly occurs, but that's statistically significant.
Yes, I would say so. Right? Let's I'll have to dive deeper for that one. But I believe I was watching some Steve. But it was just, I get what from a person who doesn't have two parents in the house. I could see how they'd say, "Well, you're privileged, man, because you have two." But it's like, no, my parents achieved the standard, and your parents sadly set you up for failure.
So I think that there's always going to be some sort of, we're a blended family.
Yeah.
And both other parents are very active in the kids' lives for the most part. And so we approach it as a blended family. The challenge being, is the privilege to good parents, or is the perceived privilege to good parents, or the perceived privilege to biological parents? Because I think even if you have two good parents, there's still going to be, some things to work through,
I can answer that for you if you'd like.
Please.
Because that exact scenario is my scenario. Or my mom took off. I don't know. I haven't talked to her in like 20 years, 25 years.
Y'all went and played hide and go seek.
She went and played hide and go seek.
And you never found mom.
Yeah, she never came looking. Right? She wrote me a letter. It was terrible. I was like 10, 11, and she said that the responsibility to maintain the relationship was going to be on me, an 11-year-old. See, my dad deployed during Desert Storm to Seattle.
Oh, wow.
In 1990. Okay. And let me tell you, if you got to deploy to Seattle, 1990 is the time to go. That's when all the music was hitting. Yeah. Glorious, right? Well, we were in California, and so we went up to Washington, and she allowed it to happen in the first place. I never would have. Would you ever let your kids leave the municipality?
No.
No, right?
I would follow them. If it was beyond my control. I would literally, and I had faced that potentiality, and fortunately for us,
Texas law says
you can't. So
both have to agree, right?
There you go. But I was prepared to go.
I'm pretty sure that it's the same thing in California, that both parents have to agree. And in any event, she gave us she won custody, and she gave us to our father anyway. And so I guess in any event, She didn't come with us. She left us, and she told us that if you want to have a relationship with me, you've got to start doing more, your pull. I was like 10 or 11, and which means, absolutely nothing. I have zero responsibility to maintain a relationship with an adult when I'm that
Basically,
age.
yeah.
It's like 90% the adult's responsibility to maintain it. I've got to give something back. I can't just sit there and not give any lovins. But still, anyway. So there, she left, and I was so blessed to have my stepmom who come in, and she became my mother, right? But there was still a part of me that thought to myself, gee, even your own mother didn't love you. And that can hurt a guy if it gets in your head.
Sure. Well, those are those things that we have to overcome, and the root of that being forgiveness. We have to start with a choice to choose to forgive, and ideally, like for you to get over your mommy and daddy issues,
just mommy,
whatever. I'm speaking hypothetically. Whatever it be, mommy or daddy or both or a combination of those.
Then why would you point at me and say you? Yeah, right.
I think ultimately is so that you can have a proper relationship with your kids for their future relational health.
I got to break that curse, that generational curse.
Absolutely. And it starts with forgiveness.
Well, that's one of the reasons I fought so damn hard to keep my marriage. I fought so hard.
Ooh,
I had to go through a lot of changing. Changes that I realized were the best.
Well, when Tamara and I got married, I had a foot out the door. I did everything with a foot out the door.
Yeah, right.
But it took some really solid men with successful relationships for the long haul, 40 years plus, who had relationships centered on the foundation of Christ, basically say, hey, do you believe in God? Yeah, absolutely I do. Do you believe the Bible to be the inherent word of God? Yes, absolutely I do. Well, let me show you where in the Word God talks about marriage and the relationship and the responsibility of the husband and the responsibility of the wife. And what I realized was if I wanted to have a healthy relationship, I had to know what my roles and expectations were based on what I believed to be true. And then I had to evaluate myself, how are you doing? Not how's she doing? Like how are you doing? And if she were to take that same approach, now you grow together, and instead of saying he's doing what she's doing, you're holding yourself accountable to the standard that we find in the Word of God.
I always tell Mike this. I was going to ask you some questions, do some gotcha, like, no, wrong, haha. But I'll just tell you, instead of being a dick, I'll just tell you. So I bring Michael to the side and I go, Michael, who's the most important person in this family? And he says, Mommy? Like, nope. He goes, oh, you then? Like, nope. I'm like, who? Jesus. Jesus is the most important person in this family. We serve him first. After Jesus, who? You? Nope. Mommy? Gotcha. Where do you think you fit in? Actually, it said not even Mommy. No, because it wasn't Mommy, because it goes like this. It goes, Jesus, our marriage, your mother, you and Hannah, and then me.
Where do tacos fit in?
That fits in wherever we can. Sideways, right at us. That's why part of the reason we had to come to Texas, for goodness sake.
Put tacos on the menu.
Yeah. But I think a lot of people have that screwed up. I think the most important people in a lot of people's house is their children. Or the children. Yeah, like they do everything for their children. I see people lining up half hour before their kids on a bright sunny day, half hour before their kids have to get picked up, in line, waiting. Or if they just came 5 minutes later, the line's gone. That's what I do, by the way. I wait 5 minutes until after the bell rings when all the line's gone. Yeah, problem solved. Yeah. And Michael likes it. We're all good.
I get
it's an idolatry.
No, I get what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Did you say idolatry?
Yeah, it's a form of idolatry. They make their kids and they live for their kids.
It is. It absolutely is. And I think it comes from a good place, but
those good intentions.
It comes right. It comes from the good intentions.
What's that road paved with? That's on hell.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a bunch of those.
But the root of it is it's not. It's unhealthy because. I mean, there's some good things kids can learn in terms of like serving, right? Being a servant, but oftentimes with kids, the expectation becomes mom and dad are going to serve me.
Oh yeah.
And then basically what you do is you create a socialistic monster.
Yeah, terrible. Someone who lives in your basement and won't leave.
That's exactly.
Yeah. That's why they had to increase the age of being under insurance to 26. I mean, I had my own dang insurance when I was younger than that. You know why? Because I joined the military. Hoorah. Because I had privilege in having the standard. Although it wasn't the standard. I actually would say I was privileged because I found somebody, a woman came into our life that didn't need to and took us on anyway and made it become our mom. That's a huge privilege. And
Well, yeah. I mean, I consider that a blessing.
Two parents that are biological,
Yeah.
being in the household, that is not a privilege. That is the standard.
Sure.
And that's what we should be.
Well, I think that's a good standard. To me, that's a biblical standard. So, I'm not perfect, but I like that as a standard. If you got to have a standard, I think you have to have a standard. If you don't stand for something, you're gonna fall for anything. So
there it is. Good.